All right, buckle up. We're diving deep into some interesting, unconventional dating advice today. You sent over a bunch of audio clips, and this guy, wow, he does not hold back. He says women are attracted to a bit of psycho in a guy, talks about the power of thumb wrestling, even playfully eating a woman's food. I mean, where do we even start with this?
Yeah, he's definitely challenging the typical dating advice out there,
Hmm.
especially that whole nice guy approach. It seems like he's saying women don't want someone they can control. They're looking for confidence, leadership, that kind of thing.
Okay, so let's just jump right into it. This psycho thing, it kind of threw me off. Does he really mean women want a guy who's like unstable?
Not exactly. I
Hmm.
think he's using that word psycho to be provocative,
Yeah.
to make a point. He's saying that being too worried about being nice or politically correct can actually make you less attractive.
Makes you seem insecure, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's suggesting a little bit of that unpredictable energy can be exciting, intriguing.
So instead of trying to avoid any jokes or opinions that might be a little edgy, he's saying embrace that individuality, even if it's a little out there.
Definitely one way to look at it. And he even says that for women who are really gorgeous, looks aren't as important. They're already confident in that department.
Makes sense. If you're surrounded by attractive people all the time, what makes someone stand out is personality. What else is there?
Right. He says they're more attracted to a guy who stands out, who's passionate about his interests, even if those interests are kind of unusual.
Okay, I can see that. But let's talk about this playful dominance thing, because he keeps coming back to that. What exactly does he mean?
So he uses a few different examples to illustrate this idea, like putting a hat on a girl and then taking it back, but with a cocky tone.
Hmm, I don't know about that one. Seems like that could easily be misinterpreted.
That's fair.
Hmm.
I think he's trying to show this idea of like subverting expectations, being comfortable taking the lead in a fun, playful way, not aggressive or controlling.
So it's all about the energy behind it then, having that spark of confidence.
Yeah, that's it. And this ties back into not being afraid to be a little bad, like when he talks about pretending to cheat at pool. He even suggests, get this, eating a woman's food as like another example of this playful dominance thing.
Okay, I see what he's getting at, but I feel like there's a really fine line between playful and just being rude.
Totally agree. Calibration is key. He talks about being in tune with the situation, the woman's reactions. It's not about following a script, more like adapting your approach based on the dynamic you're creating.
So it's about the mindset more than any specific lines or tricks.
Exactly. He keeps saying that these techniques only really work if they come from a place of genuine confidence. You can't fake it.
One thing I found interesting was all the emphasis he put on storytelling. He uses some pretty vivid examples, like that whole thing about the crazy bus driver.
Right. I think he's trying to show that keeping a woman's attention means more than just listing off your hobbies.
It's about making her feel something.
Exactly. It's about engaging her emotions, creating intrigue through storytelling. A good story can transport you to another world, right?
He's saying we got to treat our voices like instruments, not just tools for giving information, almost like a performance.
Exactly. He even talks about using, like, the rhythm and melody of your speech, like music.
So it's not just what you say, but how you say it.
Exactly.
Hmm.
It's the whole experience you create. Now, he does also talk about things like using time constraints and even jealousy. Those seem kind of tricky, so maybe we can get into those next. So, ready to dig into some more of this guy's unique advice.
Yeah, definitely. Still trying to process some of that earlier stuff, but I'm curious to hear what he has to say about time constraints and jealousy.
Well, he keeps talking about being a psycho, but not literally, right? He's not saying to actually be harmful.
Yeah, more like a metaphor for not being afraid to be yourself, I guess.
Right. He even says things like um, pretending to want to fight a woman on a patio as examples. Like being unpredictable, not taking yourself so seriously.
Okay, so I can kind of see how, if it's done with the right energy, those outrageous things could work. Break the tension, make you memorable.
And he ties that into this idea of mixing emotions, taking a woman through different feelings, laughter, intrigue, even a little danger.
So it's not just about being funny or charming, it's about keeping her guessing.
Yeah, and that applies to the interaction too, like changing venues, switching up activities, even shifting the emotional tone throughout the date.
I remember he talks a lot about storytelling, too, telling dramatic stories like that one about the crazy bus driver.
Exactly. People love drama, and a good story, it really connects with someone emotionally. He even says guys should practice their storytelling.
It's like attraction isn't just about what you say, but how you say it. The whole package.
Right. Body language, voice, storytelling. It all creates the experience. Now let's get to the time constraints and jealousy. He thinks you can use those strategically.
I'm a little skeptical about that. It sounds like playing games.
I get it. But with the time constraints, he's not saying to be rude. It's more like hinting that you're busy, you've got things going
So
on.
you're not just sitting around waiting for her. More like projecting confidence, abundance.
Exactly. And with jealousy, he actually talks about two sides of it. First, using it as social proof.
So, like, if a woman's not interested, talk to other women, let her see it.
Yeah, he thinks that can trigger a woman's competitive instincts, you know,
Mm-hmm.
make her more interested. But then he also talks about dealing with jealousy from your own side.
That's interesting. Most advice focuses on making the woman jealous.
He says if you truly believe in yourself, other guys won't bother you. He even suggests, like, playfully encouraging a woman who tries to make you jealous.
Really? How would that even work?
Saying something like, hey, you two would make a great couple.
Wow. That's pretty bold.
It shows security,
Yeah.
right? And he thinks women can sense that, and it sets you apart. Now, another thing he talks about is shit tests.
Those little challenges women throw out to see how you'll react.
Yep. He says most guys fail because they don't get what's happening. His advice: don't argue or get defensive. Tease her playfully about it.
Or just ignore it and move on.
Exactly. Stay composed, show you understand what's going on. And that goes back to dominance, being assertive but not aggressive.
Like leading the conversation, making decisions.
Yep. Not, would you like to go over there?
Uh,
But let's go over there. Confidence but not controlling. It's different from a lot of the usual dating advice for sure.
Yeah, it's less about specific tricks, more about a whole mindset. Being playful, confident, expressing yourself genuinely.
And he's always saying, these techniques only work if you really feel that way. Don't fake it.
He also says it's okay to walk away if it's not working, right?
Yeah. Value your time. Don't waste it on someone who's not interested. He even says, end the conversation before she does.
That's a power move, huh?
It shows confidence, self-respect, and it can make you more interesting. Creates some mystery. And another thing, having a life outside of dating.
That's always good advice, right? So you're not putting all your hopes on one person.
He says to pursue your passions, build connections, enjoy your own company. He even suggests going to clubs alone to show you're not desperate for attention.
That's definitely a different perspective.
It's not about playing hard to get. It's about genuinely having a full life. And that's attractive.
Because you're not looking for someone to complete you.
Right. You're already whole.
Right.
So it's not just techniques. It's about a lifestyle, a way of being. It helps you in all areas of life, not just dating.
So lots to unpack here, from playful dominance to shit tests to just living a good life. What stands out to you most from all of this? Man, this guy really makes you think. It's not just about like pickup lines or tricks. It's deeper than that.
Yeah, it's like he's getting at the whole psychology behind attraction. You know?
And he keeps saying it all starts with yourself, being self-aware.
Right. Recognizing those limiting beliefs that might be holding you back. He even talks about how his own background in political science, can you believe it, actually affected how he used to interact with women.
Huh. Interesting. It's like we all have these internal stories, right? And sometimes they sabotage us without even realizing it.
Totally. And he talks about understanding the dynamics between men and women, those little cues and signals.
Like those shit tests we talked about.
Exactly. He thinks women use resistance, not always because they're not interested, but to see how confident you are.
If you'll back down or fold under pressure.
Right. And his advice is so different. Don't argue. Don't get flustered. Just tease her about it playfully or just move on.
Just like, okay, whatever you say, and keep going.
Exactly. Don't let it throw you off. Confidence is key. Women, like a guy who's decisive, takes the lead.
And that's where the time constraint thing comes in, right? Subtly implying you're not just waiting around for her.
Yep. It's about having that abundance mindset. And again, having a life outside of dating.
So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, basically.
Right. Pursue your passions, connect with people, enjoy your own company. He even says, go to clubs alone. Show you're not desperate for attention.
I mean, I kind of get it, but that's bold.
It's counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But that confidence, it's magnetic.
He also talks about appearance, but not in a superficial way, right?
Yeah. It's about finding a style that makes you feel confident, expresses who you are.
He even suggests, like, crazy hairstyles, dyeing your hair, stuff like that. Stand out, be unique.
Don't be afraid to be different. And he talks about your voice, your body language, how you present yourself.
Yeah, it's almost like being a performer.
Exactly. And then, of course, storytelling.
A good story can really grab someone's attention.
He says, Practice your storytelling skills. Make them captivating. It's been a wild ride, this deep dive. We've covered a lot. Playful dominance, shit tests, storytelling, living an attractive lifestyle. Definitely makes you think.
Yeah, it challenged some of my assumptions for sure.
And his main message seems to be attraction isn't about tricks. It's about personal growth, becoming your best self.
And when you do that, the right people will come into your life naturally. And it's not just about dating, right? These are things that can help you in any area of life.
Exactly. Well, we've covered a lot of ground. What do you think? What stood out to you most? Is this all really about self-esteem, or is there something more going on? What are you going to take away from all of this? Just something to think about.